You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Inside the record-breaking spending binge destroying the GOP's credibility, based on an article by Matthew Rosser. The deficit is the alibi. Republican austerity is a caution. The immediate story. A simple staffer in Rampell's account shows Republicans once again promising deficit discipline while engineering another reconciliation bill after already using the process twice since Trump's second term began. The numbers in the source matter because they expose the scam. Republicans added trillions in deficits with one bill, tens of billions more with another, and now talk about a fourth round as if the problem were unfinished business rather than the governing plan. Power lies with leadership, not the complaining members. The actual power sits with Trump, House Republican leadership, and the Senate Republicans who keep clearing the path. A handful of House members can grumble about offsets, and a Senator can mutter that spending should be offset. But those complaints are procedural decoration unless they stop the bill. They have not stopped the bills. The record in the source is plain. The leadership keeps promising another round, and the caucus keeps moving. The cuts are a misdirection, not a solution. The article's sharpest point is that the public-facing cuts are political theater, slashing the Smithsonian, community development, financial institutions, USAID, and medical research grants lets Republicans perform seriousness while protecting the real spending priorities that actually explode the budget to tax cuts, wars, deportation machinery, and farm bailouts. That is not fiscal discipline. It is selective cruelty paired with budgetary fraud. What they call waste is often what they hate. This is where the framing gets revealing. Programs serving vulnerable communities are treated as expendable because they are visible, politically safe targets for conservatives, and because the cuts can be sold as saving money even when the savings are trivial in the federal ledger. That is the point of the misdirection, to teach voters to notice the symbolic wound and ignore the structural theft. The harm is real, the savings are not. The real conservative principle, Rampell's piece, as quoted in the source, describes a party that has abandoned even the old pretense of responsible spending. That is not a temporary lapse. It is the governing logic of the Trump era: spend lavishly on punishment, privilege, and performance, then demand austerity from institutions that educate, research, aid, or compensate the people the right considers disposable. The fiscal language is there to launder priorities, not to constrain them. The pattern behind the performance. The larger pattern is Republican rule by contradiction, break the budget, then accuse public institutions of being unaffordable, fund coercion, then call it efficiency, cut humane programs, then pose as stewards of the taxpayer. Democrats should not mirror this fraud with timid technocracy. The task is to name the power structure clearly the right-wing coalition willing to use procedure, deficits, and scapegoated cuts to keep expanding state violence while pretending it is trimming fat. You've been listening to Systemic Error, thanks to Alternet for today's article, with the automated voice of Norman. Thanks for listening.